The Conference of the Birds, an audio summary based on the masterpiece by Farid Attar. What if the truth you are searching for is not somewhere far away? What if the king, the guide, the answer, and the light are already hidden inside you? This is the great mystery at the heart of the Conference of the Birds, one of the most famous masterpieces of Persian Sufi literature, written by Farid Attar. On the surface, it is a story about birds. But like all great mystical stories, it is not really about birds, it is about us, it is about the human soul. It is about the journey from fear to love, from ego to truth, and from separation to unity. The story begins when all the birds of the world gather together. They are restless, they are confused, they have no leader, no direction, and no true king. Each bird lives in its own small world. Each one has its own desire, its own fear, and its own excuse. Then the hoopoe rises among them. The hoopoe is not the strongest bird, it is not the most beautiful, but it is wise, it has traveled, it has seen more than the others, and in this story, the hoopoe becomes the guide, the teacher, and the voice of spiritual courage. The hoopoe tells the birds that they are not without a king. They already have a king. His name is the Simurgh. He is magnificent, mysterious, and almost impossible to reach. He lives far away, beyond mountains, beyond deserts, beyond dangers, and beyond the limits of ordinary life. The birds listen. For a moment they are excited. They want to find the Simurgh. They want to see their true king. They want to begin the journey, but very soon their excuses begin. The nightingale speaks first. The nightingale says, "I cannot leave the rose. My heart belongs to the rose. My song, my love, my life. All of it is for the rose. How can I leave it behind?" The hoopoe answers that the nightingale's love may seem beautiful, but the rose is temporary. It blooms for a short time, then fades. If the heart is attached only to what disappears, it will suffer again and again. Then the parrot speaks. The parrot dreams of immortality. It wants the water of eternal life. It does not want danger. It does not want sacrifice. It wants to live forever without changing. The hoopoe answers that the path to truth is not about escaping death. It is about discovering what cannot die. Then the peacock speaks. The peacock remembers paradise. It says that it once belonged to paradise and now it only wants to return to the garden it lost. The hoopoe answers that the peacock is still attached to the memory of a place, but the true journey is deeper than paradise as a place. It is the journey of the soul. Then the duck speaks. The duck says, "Water is my home, water is my comfort. I cannot live without it." The hoopoe answers that comfort can also become a prison. Sometimes what feels safe keeps the soul asleep. Then the hawk speaks. The hawk is proud. It says, "I sit on the hand of kings. I am close to power. I do not need to search for another king." The hoopoe answers that worldly kings are temporary. Their power passes. Their palaces fall. Do not mistake closeness to power for closeness to truth. Then the owl speaks. The owl loves ruins. It says, "I live among broken places. I search for hidden treasure. The ruins are enough for me." The hoopoe answers that the owl is in love with what is dead. It searches for treasure in empty places, but the real treasure is beyond fear. And so, each bird gives an excuse. Each excuse sounds different, but underneath, they are all the same: attachment, fear, pride, comfort, desire, and ego. This is where Attar's story becomes powerful. Each bird is not only a bird, each bird is also a part of us. The nightingale is the part of us that confuses love with attachment. The parrot is the part of us that wants life without suffering. The peacock is the part of us that lives in memories of a lost paradise. The duck is the part of us that cannot leave comfort. The hawk is the part of us that loves status and power. The owl is the part of us that secretly lives among ruins and calls them treasure. The hoopoe listens to them all, then it tells them the truth. The journey to the Simurgh will not be easy. It will be long, it will be painful, it will require courage. Many will not finish it. Many will turn back. Many will be lost. But without this journey, they will never know who they really are. At last, the birds agree to go, and the great journey begins. To reach the Simurgh, the birds must pass through 7 valleys. These valleys are not only places on a map, they are stages of the soul. The first valley is the Valley of Quest. This is where the seeker begins. In this valley, the soul becomes restless. Ordinary life is no longer enough. The seeker feels that something is missing, something deeper, something truer. The road begins with a question: who am I? Why am I here? What is the truth behind this life? The second valley is the Valley of Love. Here, reason is not enough. The heart catches fire. Love burns away calculation. Love makes the seeker brave, but love also makes the seeker suffer, because real love asks for everything, not only words, not only feelings, everything. The third valley is the Valley of Knowledge, but this is not ordinary knowledge. It is not only books, it is not only facts, it is inner knowledge, a kind of seeing. The seeker begins to understand that the world is not as simple as it appears. There are many paths, many levels, and many veils. The fourth valley is the Valley of Detachment. Here, the seeker begins to let go. Let go of possessions, let go of praise, let go of fear, let go of the need to control everything. The world is still there, but it no longer owns the heart. The fifth valley is the Valley of Unity. In this valley, the seeker begins to see that everything is connected. The many are not separate from the one. The world is full of forms, but behind the forms there is one reality. The sixth valley is the Valley of Wonderment. Here, the mind becomes silent. The seeker is amazed. Nothing feels simple anymore. Everything is mystery. Everything is strange. Everything is full of meaning. The seeker cannot fully explain what is happening, but the heart knows it is close to something great. The seventh valley is the Valley of Poverty and Annihilation. This is the hardest valley, because here the seeker must lose the self, not the true self, but the false self, the ego, the pride, the little identity that says, I am separate, I am important, I am the center. In this valley, the seeker becomes nothing, and through becoming nothing, the seeker becomes ready to see everything. The journey is terrible. Many birds cannot continue. Some become tired, some become afraid, some are lost, some die on the way. Some turn back to the things they loved before: the rose, the water, the ruins, the palace, the dream of comfort. The road is too much for them, and this is one of the most honest parts of Attar's story. Not everyone completes the journey. Wanting truth is easy. Walking towards truth is hard. At the end, after all the suffering, after all the valleys, after all the loss, only 30 birds remain. 30 birds, weak, exhausted, broken, but changed. They reach the court of the Simurgh. They have crossed the world to find their king. They expect to see something magnificent, a great bird, a shining ruler, a king beyond imagination. But when the final veil is lifted, they do not see another being. They see themselves, 30 birds. And here is the great secret of the story. In Persian, Simurgh can mean 30 birds. The Simurgh they were searching for was not separate from them in the way they imagined. The journey had changed them. It had burned away their excuses. It had broken their pride. It had purified their hearts, and only then could they see the truth. They had traveled far to discover what was near. They had lost themselves to find themselves. They had searched for a king and discovered that the answer was hidden in their own transformed being. This does not mean the journey was useless. No, the journey was necessary. Because before the journey, they were only birds with excuses. After the journey, they became a mirror of the Simurgh. This is the beauty of Attar's masterpiece. It tells us that the path to truth is not only about reaching a place, it is about becoming ready, ready to see, ready to love, ready to lose the ego, ready to understand that the thing we seek outside may be hidden inside us, but we cannot see it until we are changed. The Conference of the Birds is not only a Persian poem, it is a map of the soul. The birds are us, the hoopoe is the guide, the valleys are the stages of transformation, the excuses are our own attachments, and the Simurgh is the truth we are afraid to seek, and the truth we deeply long to find. Maybe we all have a nightingale inside us, singing to a rose that will fade. Maybe we all have a duck inside us, afraid to leave the water. Maybe we all have a hawk inside us, proud of being close to power. Maybe we all have an owl inside us, living among ruins and calling them treasure. And maybe somewhere inside us, there is also a hoopoe, a wiser voice, a voice that says, rise, begin, do not stay where you are. The road is difficult, but your soul was made for more than comfort. This is why the Conference of the Birds still speaks to people today. Because we are still searching. We search for meaning, for love, for peace, for God, and for ourselves. We look for the Simurgh in success, in beauty, in power, in memory, in other people, and in faraway places. But Attar gently asks us, what if the journey is not only outward? What if the real distance is inside the soul? What if the mountain we must cross is the ego? What if the desert we fear is our own emptiness? And what if the king we seek can only appear when the self becomes quiet? At the end of the story, the birds find no ordinary king. They find a mirror, and in that mirror, they see what they have become. This is the final wisdom of Attar's poem. You cannot find the Simurgh while remaining the same bird. You must travel. You must lose. You must burn. You must let go. And then, perhaps, after all the valleys, after all the excuses, after all the pain, you may discover that the truth was never absent. It was waiting for you behind the veil of your own self. So maybe the question is not, where is the Simurgh? Maybe the real question is, what must I leave behind before I am ready to see it?